Hey guys, Dustin here. Welcome to another episode of Horroritis. So today I wanted to try something different. Instead of going back and telling you about a movie that I love and trying to convince you to watch it, I'm going to give you an honest review of a movie that I have seen recently. And this week's movie is actually from this year. I had never even heard of it until I saw it on Netflix when I was browsing through the horror list. So because this is an honest, legit review, I'm going to try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. However, there is the off chance that I may still give a little too much away. But, like I said, I'll keep it as spoiler-free as I can. The movie I want to talk about this week is called The Chosen. It is written and directed by first-time director Ben Jehoshua. Now, this movie has a 3.9 rating on IMDb and some fairly scathing reviews. Now, I'm not going to say that these people are right or wrong, but I am going to give you my honest opinion and reasons why I feel this way. So, let's jump right into it, and like I said, I'll try to keep it spoiler-free. The movie's about a little girl who ends up with a child-stealing demon attached to her. It's then left up to her mother and uncle to choose 6 blood relatives to sacrifice to save her. The concept itself was enough to get me to watch, but it didn't take too long to see why it had that 3.9 rating on IMDb. Here's the stuff that irked me. This movie has a cast of actors that you've probably never heard of, and they haven't done a whole lot. And then there's some actors that you probably have heard of because they have done a lot. However, the acting across the board feels stiff and forced. There's lines of dialogue that feel like they just don't need to be there, or at least should have been rewritten to feel more natural. The relationship between characters doesn't feel organic at all, except for between the brother and sister character. They really do kind of feel like they're brother and sister. But aside from that, all the relationships between people just feel forced. The main premise of the movie is they have to choose 6 blood relatives to sacrifice in order to save the girl. However, they get this information when they stop a random stranger from murdering her husband in order to save her baby. Now, they'd never see this baby, and they've never met this woman before, and she could be batshit crazy. They don't know. However, once they leave, they just accept the fact that, hey, we have to pick 6 people to kill now. Really? I mean, I think it would take a little bit more convincing than some random stranger who I've never met and know nothing about, who just happens to kind of have a creepy book, to convince me to just start murdering family members. Actually, that's not entirely true. I mean, we've all got those family members, right? At one point, the main character, played by Kean Lawley, is having doubts about whether or not he can actually go through with this. At that point, a random nun shows up in order to convince him. Now, at this point, it's far too late in the movie to really be introducing new characters, and she really doesn't serve a point except for kind of yelling at him and slapping him a couple times, and then she disappears. And then she reappears again, and then she disappears, and she reappears again. She really serves no purpose and probably could have been cut from the movie altogether. At one point, Elizabeth Keener's character breaks down in a sobbing religious rant. Now, up until this point, we've had no inclination that she's even a religious person. So this scene in general feels forced and artificial and pulls you back out of the movie. My biggest gripe with the movie is, at the end, they need a major character shift in order to end the movie the way they did. Now, they could have spent the movie building up the character, moving the character from one end of the spectrum to the other, so that by the time they get to the end, it feels natural for the events to unfold the way they do. However, they didn't do that, so by the time we get to the end, it just feels like we have a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation where he's here one minute, he's there the next minute, then the ending unfolds and it all just feels wrong. So now that we've covered all the things that bother me, here's what they did right. Even though it's a demon movie with possession and stuff like that, they really went kind of minimal on the effects. The demon stuff kind of took a back seat, and the story is actually about a brother and sister who have to make tough decisions and have to learn to deal with the decisions they have to make. They have to go from their everyday normal lives to a very dark place and make some very dark choices. And that alone is actually worth watching this movie. So again, the IMDb rating for this movie is like 3.9. And like I said before, I think those guys are just snobs. All of the problems with this movie could have been fixed with a polish on the script. I personally will give this a 4.5 out of 10, just for the fact that it's an interesting premise and they didn't use the effects to compensate for all the other shortcomings. Now, this movie might not be for everyone, but this director shows promise, and I'm very interested to see what he does in the future. Hopefully, though, he doesn't pull an Uwe Boll on us and just decide that everything he craps out is art and we're just too stupid to appreciate it. That would be a shame. So that's it for this review of The Chosen. If you want to see more reviews like this in the regular video rotation, leave me a comment below, or you can hit me up on Facebook or Twitter, both at The Horroritis. If you like this video, hit the like button, share it around to your friends, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button because I've got more reviews coming for you. Also, if you like this channel as much as I do and you want to help it grow, please consider going to patreon.com/horroritis. There you can donate $1 on up, as much as you want for as long as you want. It's completely up to you. And of course, everything we get from the Patreon page goes directly back into the channel to improve equipment, quality, and special features, and maybe do some more giveaways. So even if you don't donate, we're still cool. And until next time, I'm Dustin. This was Horroritis. Thanks for watching.